The plain of Shinar stretched flat and endless under a scorching sun. Thousands of people moved like ants across the earth, carrying heavy clay bricks baked in roaring fires. They did not use stone or mortar. Instead, they stacked bricks bound by thick, black tar. The rhythm of labor was absolute. Every man and woman worked with a singular focus, their movements synchronized by a shared vision. The sun beat down on their backs, yet no one complained. They were driven by a singular, burning desire to leave a mark upon the world that time could never erase. This was the dawn of an era defined by human will. Day after day, the tower climbed. Ramps spiraled upward, and the sound of hammers hitting clay echoed across the horizon like a heartbeat. Men shouted commands to haul more bricks to the summit, their voices rising in unison. They wanted a tower that pierced the clouds, a monument to their own strength that would keep them from ever scattering across the wild earth. They wanted to make a name for themselves. At the base, leaders pointed to the sky, mapping out walls that reached higher than any mountain. The pride on their faces was as hard as the bricks they laid.
"Look at what we have achieved!" they shouted. "Nothing is impossible for us!"
The structure grew into a giant of clay and tar, a defiant fist raised toward the heavens.
Suddenly, a worker dropped his trowel. He turned to his partner and shouted for more tar.
His partner blinked, his brow furrowing in deep confusion. The words sounded like garbled noise.
A sequence of sounds with no meaning. Nearby, a foreman barked an order to stop the lift.
His face red with frustration, but the workers stared back with blank expressions. They were unable to grasp the meaning of his speech. The air, once filled with the harmony of work,
now filled with a chaotic babble of unknown tongues. A mason tried to explain the blueprint, pointing frantically at the sketches, but his teammate pushed him aside in a fit of rage.
The unity that built the tower shattered in an instant. Fear replaced pride.
"What are you saying?" one man screamed, but to the others it was only a hollow roar. The bond of language,
the very foundation of their civilization, had been severed by an invisible hand. Tools clattered to the ground, abandoned in the dust.
Arguments erupted as people realized they could no longer communicate with their own kin. The grand project was forgotten.
Families gathered their meager belongings, looking through the crowds for others who spoke their specific, strange dialect. The massive structure stood half-finished, a silent witness to their failed ambition. Groups turned their backs on the city and began walking in opposite directions, moving toward the far corners of the earth. The city of Babel was left behind, a graveyard of bricks and broken plans. The dust settled on the ramps where thousands once stood.
Now only a haunting silence remained where there was once a roar of triumph.
Centuries later, the scattered nations remained divided by language. Yet, the story did not end in silence. While the tower failed to reach upward, the message remained clear. Humanity could not ascend to God through pride or the works of their own hands. True connection would not be found in a monument of clay, but in a different way that would eventually bridge the gap between all nations, tribes, and languages. The tower fell, but the lesson endured. Life built on human ambition eventually crumbles into the sand, while a life surrendered to God stands forever. The ruins of Babel serve as a reminder that our greatest strength is not in our height, but in our humility. The path to the heavens is not built of brick, but of spirit.